For my virtual best practice, we're going to be talking about the token economy system. What is a token economy? A token economy is a system used in schools to provide students with immediate reinforcement by giving students tokens for completing tasks or displaying appropriate behaviors. The tokens are then exchanged for rewards. It's a technique that's used to help motivate and reward students. When students do what they're supposed to, they receive a token or something tangible so they know what they are being rewarded for and can have a physical reminder of that reward. Token economies are like world economies. In world economies, people go to work and they complete jobs and tasks. They make money and then they use that money to buy things like food, cars, vacations, etc. In a token economy, students go to school, they complete academic tasks, or they do show appropriate behavior, and when they do this, they earn tokens, and then they can turn their tokens in for activities and tangible items like time on the iPad or a bag of popcorn at the end of the day. What are tokens? Tokens are visible or tangible objects that are given to students to reward them. Tokens are collected over time and exchanged for a reward. Tokens can be many things. They can be fake money, stickers, chips, points in class dojo, tally marks, etc. All students can benefit from token economies. A lot of times they're used as a class, but they're also used individually. Students with disability tend to benefit from them because it helps motivate them for different academic tasks and to show appropriate behavior. Students with behavior problems also benefit because it helps to them increase the desired behaviors and decrease the not desired behaviors. Students with academic problems can also use token economies. A token economy should be used to help motivate students showing problem behaviors. It's a way to motivate them to show the appropriate behavior. It can also help students with various academic things like staying on task, doing assignments, and submitting homework. Since immediate feedback is given, it's a good way to help increase desired behaviors and to decrease the undesired ones. There are two different objectives that I put for using a token economy. The first is students will increase appropriate behavior and decrease inappropriate behavior. The second is tokens will be awarded immediately after the appropriate behavior or action is shown. If feedback isn't given immediately, then students might get confused on why they're receiving the token. But when students are given the token immediately after they show the desired behavior or action, then they know specifically what they are being rewarded for. And they know that if they continue to show that behavior, they will be rewarded again. Token economies are first, when you use a token economy, you first set out by identifying a behavior or activity that a student is having trouble doing, like turning in homework or blurting out in class. It's important that the student and teacher decide and identify this behavior together so it's a team effort. Once the behavior or activity is identified, the student and teacher will decide what token will be given to the students when the student shows the appropriate behavior or does the appropriate action. Goals should be set for receiving tokens and rewards. That way they know how many tokens it takes to get certain rewards. Then they will come up with a way to track their tokens. So this might be they have a sticker chart that they use, or they make tally marks. It all depends on what token they use as how they will track their tokens. Reinforcers will be decided on so that the student and teacher know what the student is working for. The student should really be involved in this step because it's important that the student decides what they're going to be rewarded with when they show the desired behavior or they do the desired action. If the student doesn't like the reward, then they're not going to be motivated to earn tokens because it's not something they want. But when it's something that they want to do and desire, then they're going to be more likely to show the desired behavior or do the desired action. Reinforcers can be things like extra time on the iPad, having lunch in the room with the teacher, or a homework pass. Students need to know what it takes to earn the different rewards. Some may be if you earn 5 tokens, you get extra time on the iPad. But others might be if you earn 5 tokens, you can get extra time on the iPad. But if you earn 10 tokens, then you get extra time at recess, or you get to eat lunch with the teacher. So if you have different levels like that, it's important students know what they need in order to get each reward. When the student shows the appropriate behavior or does the appropriate action, they need to be rewarded. They need to be immediately given the token. That way that the student knows that they showed the correct behavior or action that they had talked about. When the student receives the amount of tokens needed to get the reward, then they need to make sure they turn the tokens in. Over time, that needs to be harder to get the rewards, so you might go from needing 5 tokens to receive extra time on the iPad to, once that works for a while, you might go to needing 7 tokens in order to get time on the iPad. The idea of a token economy is to help motivate students and to reinforce appropriate behavior, but it's ideally used to have students leaned off of it over time. It's not a permanent solution to be used. There are different accommodations and modifications that can be used with token economies for students with disabilities. Visual aids are a good way to help students remind them of what the desired behavior or action that they need to do is in order to earn their token. It's a good idea to place that on the student's desk to help remind them what the behavior they should be displaying is or what action they need to be taken. Having a chart on their desk, if that's what they use to record it, is also helpful because they can see how many tokens they have and how many they need to go in order to receive the rewards. Another good idea is to have a first this, then that chart, and this is good for students who are scheduled, so students with autism, because they know that first they have to do this and then they receive the reward that they're working towards. We also need to make sure the tokens are appropriate for the students. So, for example, if a student doesn't like shiny things like gold stickers or coins, then maybe using something like a plain red sticker or the craft pom-poms might be a better idea because it's not going to be distracting or upsetting to the student. It's also important to practice working with the student on using the token system so the student knows how it works and when they're going to be rewarded or given tokens. There are many benefits of token economies. They help increase appropriate behaviors or actions. They decrease unwanted behavior or actions. It motivates students. It works for students with disabilities and those without. It can be done for an entire class or just one student. And if it's done for just one student, it can be individualized specifically for that student, which is nice. Here are some examples of different token economies. On our first picture, here we have a path that leads up to the reward, and in this case it's free time. And students earn stars for their appropriate behavior or action, and once they fill up their path with stars, then they earn the free time. In the second picture in the middle, the students have a chart, and each time they show the appropriate behavior, they get a star velcroed onto their chart. And we can see on this that they're working for time on the iPad. On the picture on the right, they're using like poker chips as their tokens. And on the right, we can see that they have different levels. So if students earn 1 chip, they get time on the iPad. If they receive 2, they get to play with the car, and if they receive 3 tokens, then they get to use Legos. And this is a good example of the leveled token rewards, and we can see clearly what it takes to earn each one. Here are a few more examples. Our first one, it's a tally chart showing points, and it's a bank. So when students bank a certain number of points, then they're able to earn the reward. The star chart here shows each day, and it's good for things like turning in homework because you get a star for each day that you turn your homework in, so it's really easy to keep track of and to chart it. And then the last one, it's a good example of the first this, then that. So first the student works, and they have to earn the set amount of pennies in the chart before they can then earn the reward that they're working towards. If you have any questions on the token economy, please feel free to email me at catherine_hooven@mymail.eku.edu. Here are the resources that I used for this presentation. I have also created a one-page handout that is a synopsis of the token economy, and I will upload this document to the discussion board so you can download it and have it as a resource to use in your future classroom if you would like. And it just goes through basic things like what a token economy is, who benefits from it, what it looks like, procedures for using it, modifications, resources, and then it gives a few examples. Thank you.